But on that and your love of creating pedals and rather than focusing on it being a financial thing for you, I mean, I won this, and it's quite interesting that you mentioned about blowing pedals up, because as you know, I blew this one up. I won this in a competition, and I got it, and I hadn't owned tremolos at the time, and I loved the tremolo effect, so I was super excited to receive this. And I plugged it all in, switched it on, and then some of the functions weren't working brilliant. I thought something wrong here. Then there was a smell, and I thought, oh, then I realized what I'd done. But to bring on to what you're saying about your focus of providing or doing something that you love, I had an awkward telephone conversation with Ross saying, you know, I blew your pedal up. I'm ever so sorry. And your response was, don't worry, send it back. I'll fix it and we'll get it sorted. And that's what you did. You know, and that's commendable. And a lot of people will be saying, well, okay, it's going to cost you X amount. This, it's going to cost you that. And yeah, you got it sorted within a week. And you know, thank you very much for that. And
no problem.
That will do you in good stead, I think, going forward. And it's a great pedal. It's a great pedal. Those, I think when I first plugged it in, the one thing that came across to me was it's not a one-trick pony. That wave and symmetry knob, those two together, you can have hours of fun tweaking those two knobs, and you get completely different waveforms, tremolo sounds. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I wonder, maybe you can start off as we talk about your products. Maybe you can start off talking about that one and where the idea came from and what it was like to create that particular trem.
Yeah, absolutely. So, excuse me. When the idea came for it, basically, there's a little chip, and it's called a 555 timer, and it's used in sort of hobby electronics and stuff like that. And you can configure it to do just about everything electronic-wise. But I've got this idea in my head to just make it sort of blink an LED, and that's all it was. And you could turn a knob and change the speed of the LED that's flashing. And then I thought, well, if I can add sort of a guitar circuit into this and make it into a tremolo, and that's where it started off in its sort of basic form, just a little 555 chip flashing an LED. And again, like I said, just building on it, adding the wave knob, adding the symmetry knob. And the actual product today has not even got the 555 chip in it anymore. That's right. Sort of the very, very first example of where it came from. Yeah. It's just evolved, really.
It's a great pedal. It's really, really nice. I say you can have fun with it for hours, as I have done. You know, it's and I think with the optical, the bulb in there, you do get that nice soft trem throbbing. It's really nice. Do you know what I mean? Really, really.
That's what I like about it, because it can go all the way from sort of soft and subtle right up to sort of choppy, almost synthesizer-like tones, and that's really what appeals to me about it as well.
Yeah, you can definitely get those more choppy trem sounds in it, if just by adjusting the wave and the symmetry. That's for sure. So what other products have you and pedals are you building at the minute? Have you got any there that you might be able to show us at all? Or
I've got 2 chairs full of products. So at the moment, where should we start? The Heretic. So I don't like selling.
Is that right?
Again,
is this a new one? Is it?
It's new? Relatively new, yeah. It's been sort of for sale for the last maybe year, but this is version 3. So
right.
So this is my take on the live pedal, basically. But as I said, I don't like releasing anything that's just a bog standard clone of anything. So for me, I've got rid of the boost section. So this is just sort of the rat and the octave. But if you pop the back off, I've not actually got a screwdriver handy, but there's a lot of different clipping options inside it.
Right.
It's been tweaked ever so slightly, so the output section of the wrap is slightly different, a little bit cleaner. But yeah, that's my take on the live pedal, really. And that, in my opinion, sounds awesome. I love this thing.
Excellent. Very nice.
What else have we got? Oh, this is a good one. So coming off the live pedal, or the Heretic, we've got the Czar. And this is basically just the octave section. No knobs, just a button, always on or off. And
so that's a straightforward octave pedal.
Yeah, it's an analog octave, so you're never going to get sort of clean, not like a POG or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's quite fuzzy, but yeah, it's just an octave. So there's no sort of blend control. It's just straight through, no nonsense. But what I like to do with this is run it in front of just like the very first thing in my chain, and then run my overdrives and my fuzzers and stuff like that after it.
Right.
So this runs previous and just basically adds an octave up to anything. And it can get quite sort of messy, but in the best way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a staple on my pedal board at the minute.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, I like it. What else have we got? So the Valhalla.
Ah, yes.
This is the dual version, and like an idiot, I've not got any of the single versions in stock at the minute, so I need to track on and build a few of these. But yeah, basically the Valhalla is just, so if you take half of it, that's the Valhalla single. It's just two of them in the same enclosure.
Yeah.
This is another one that I've got a version 2 on the way of.
Right.
So keep your eyes peeled. There's going to be some more options on this as well. But yeah, this is constantly on my pedal board at the minute as well. This is a no-brainer for me.
So that's an overdrive, is it? You got two overdrive circuits. And what is it about the overdrive circuit on that? Is it, I mean, you say you don't like sort of cloning stuff. So how is that unique in its own way?
So the Valhalla is based, so you've heard of the King of Tone pedal by Analog Man. That's based on a blues breaker originally. And the Valhalla is somewhere in between the two. Right. It's not either, but it's got elements of both, basically. Right. And on my website, basically there's the 3 options. So you can go for a sort of clean boost, an overdrive, or a distortion.
Yes, I saw that on your website.
On my personal one, I have a clean boost on the left-hand side, going into an overdrive. So basically you can boost the front end of the overdrive and almost make it distort.
Oh, right.
So for me, you've got sort of 3 pedals in one. If you use it like that.
That's a nice option. That's a really nice option. So, and I take it they're completely independent circuits and.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, on the version 2, there's actually going to be switches. So rather than choosing on the website, you're going to have all 3 sort of built into the unit.
Wow.
So that's, again, I thought you're sort of going to stick with a setting and then that's it. But then after having it on my pedal board for a few months, thinking actually, yeah, it could do with a switch on it. So that's coming in version 2.
Well, that sounds for a guitarist like me, that sounds quite exciting, and you know, a sort of a pedal that would I would use a lot, I'm sure. But yeah. I mean, how does it? It sounds like almost obvious concept to bring out a pedal like that sits in between the two. It's almost kind of so obvious that kind of why hasn't it been done before, so to speak. So, but what makes you come up with those ideas? Where do you get the initial thoughts from, and you know, those ideas of what you're going to create and stuff?
So for me, it's a lot of market research. I'll sort of look at people's boards on Instagram and think, what are they using, sort of thing. And I've seen this King of Tone 1,000 times on people's boards, and sort of dismissed it as just sort of I don't really know why I dismissed it. You know, when you see something a lot and think, oh, it's probably just all hype, so I'm not even going to bother with it. And eventually I thought, you know what, there's got to be something to this. Everyone's using it. So I pulled my breadboard out and stuck a few components in, and I actually breadboarded this King of Tone circuit. and it sounded great, but there were just a few little things that bugged me about it. So then I went back and built the original Bluesbreaker circuit, and again, it sounded great, but there were a few little things that just needed tweaking that weren't quite right for me. And that's where the Valhalla came in. I thought, well, if I take this section from this and this section from this and tweak this a little bit, and that's kind of where it came from.
Without giving away too many trade secrets, but what sort of things did you tweak to create the Valhalla?
So it's mainly sort of like tone shape and stuff. So frequency response more than anything. The Valhalla has actually got quite a bit more gain than the King of Tone. In actual fact, I've just sent one off for a demo. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, there should be a properly recorded demo of the Valhalla. So I'll be able to sort of send it across and show you. But yeah, with the addition of the switch, you can go anywhere from sort of clean boosting and getting a nice sort of bluesy clean tone, right through to pushing the front of a 5150 and getting a nice metal tone out of it. Wow. It's without a doubt the most versatile pedal I've ever used. Wow. And I'm not just saying that because I've sort of designed it, but it's, like I said, it's a staple on my pedal board, and I can't see it going anywhere anytime soon.
Wow, incredible, excellent. And how about, have you got any others there that you might be able to show us and you're working on?
Yes. So we've got the Catacombs as well.
Oh yes,
which is my digital delay pedal. And again, I've spent a long time doing this, and there's been a lot of different versions of it.
Did you say digital delay?
Yes.
Oh wow.
So when you think of digital, it's not like your 80s rack units where it'll just repeat forever and a day. It is digital, but it uses something called a PT2399 chip, which if I'm correct, it was designed for karaoke machines. And with the DIY community, people have taken this chip and turned it into various delay pedals, reverbs, choruses, and that's the digital chip that's at the heart of my Catacombs pedal.
Right.
Now, it started off as just a simple sort of 4 knobs. So you've got time, repeats, delay level or mix, and a simple tone control, which is great. But the new one has got modulation and an infinite feedback switch as well. So that's quite fun.
I like that infinite feedbacks you get from delays as well.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, it's great, but without sort of having to sort of kneel down on stage and tweak the time knob. So that's why I put that switch there. So it's always just on the maximum setting. So you tap that and hold it, and it'll just feed back until you let your foot go on it. So that, for me, it's a great addition.
and has it got tap tempo at all, or?
It's not got tap tempo in this version, no. It's something I'm looking into for future, but not at the minute now.
It sounds absolutely fantastic. So, but
thank you.
What else have you got there? You said you got two chairs full. So
I have. So, like I said, there's I don't like ever releasing anything that's a complete clone. Obviously, I have made clones of stuff in the past, but that's just for me. So they're all sat on the chair outside of me. What have we got? I've not actually got any clones of anything with me. I have a couple of other pedals that I've been working on. So this is a fun one. So the split, it's basically a buffered ABY, for want of a simpler term.
Yeah.
So you've got an input and 2 outputs. So it goes in, splits your signal, and they're both buffered. One of them's phase inverted, so you never get any sort of phasing issues when using multiple amps.
Nice.
But the bit that I really like is each side has got its own foot switch. Rather than an ABY, so you've got an AB and then a Y button, this has got an on-off for each output.
Oh, no.
Which, for me, is great. The way that I've got my board set up at the minute is it goes in through my octaves and all my overdrives and stuff like that, and then into the split. And then one side of it goes more or less straight to my amp. So I've got a nice either clean or overdriven sound.
Yeah.
And then the other side goes into sort of my delays, my reverbs, my modulation stuff into a second amp. So that can be completely wet, but it never muddies the original signal.
Yeah.
So that for me is another thing that's constantly on my board.
And what amps are you running in a wet dry config?
So at the minute, I've got a Fender Blues Deluxe, and I'm currently building an amp. So my second amp at the minute is a little sort of pedal board friendly amp that I've just got for the time being. But I'm actually building a Fender Tweed amp as my second amp, so that should be quite good when it's finished.
Excellent.
A bit of a labour of love, but
yeah, I look forward to seeing that when it's all finished and hearing that. So, and what else have you got that you can show us?
Ooh, so the Kimono.
Ooh.
Now this is currently you're the first person that's seen it. Wow. This is literally hot off the press yesterday.
Right.
So this was originally designed to be sort of for the bass market, and in essence, it's sort of a modified tube screamer. So it's modified to have a lot more sort of bottom end. It's got a 2-band EQ rather than the standard tone. Obviously, you've got a bass and a treble control. But what makes it really unique is you've got a blend control. So the thing about a lot of sort of like tube screamers and your rats and stuff like that is when you use it on a bass, you lose a lot of the low end.
Yeah.
So by adding this blend control, you can sort of dial in a bit of that clean bass signal and maintain that bottom end for it.
Yeah.
So that's what I designed it for. But this thing sounds great on guitar as well. So yeah, I've been playing about with that for the last sort of 24 hours, and I'm well impressed with it on guitar. But yeah, fingers crossed I should be able to get some demos of this fairly sharpish.
Wow.
But yeah, this is the newest pedal that's going to be soon part of my line.
Very nice. And that blend control, is that in the middle, is it? That
yes,
in the middle, yeah.
You get it closer to the camera for you.
Yeah. I posted up I think it was on the Wednesday last week about that, asking some questions for bass players as to what they feel is kind of lacking from pedals on the market today. And that was the thing that lots of people mentioned. The fact is that the bass rolls off in a lot of, as soon as people get into pedals, you know what I mean? So
it's a bit of a difficult situation, because I mean, with a standard overdrive, your guitar comes in, it's sort of clipped, and then it goes through a few sort of filters, your tone control, etc., and then it's sort of shoved out the other end. But the trouble is, if you allow too much bass into the circuit, the actual clipping section becomes muddy and not very, very nice, really, for want of a better word. So what people actually do when they're designing circuits is cut most of that bottom end away and then add it again at the back end, which is great for guitars, but for a bass circuit, you need that low end. So you've got a bit of a compromise. Do I allow a lot of bass signal in and allow it to get mushy, or do I sort of cut the bass signal and sort of leave it as it is? So the blend control, it's actually overcoming the issue that you would have with a normal overdrive pedal, really.
Wow, excellent. Excellent. And have you got anything else that you can show us at all, or have you?
I think that's about it, to be honest. There's a couple of sort of older pedals. Like this is probably the second pedal that I ever made, and I love this thing, but it's not got a place on my board at the minute, and you can see it's knackered out, paint's coming off it and that. But
it looks well loved.
Yeah. But yeah, I love this thing. I can't even remember what it was based on, but I think this might have been a clone or something.
Yeah.
But it's that old now. I can't remember what it is, but it sounds good.